Hello, do you hear me? Great. So I will start by introducing myself. My name is Ayoub Alouane. I'm a CTO at Servio Academy. And today we will talk about Qwik. But before doing that, it's my first time here in Amsterdam. They told me that I should visit Amsterdam another time for the weather. But I don't know, I will see. So before talking about Qwik, I will show you an image generated by ChatGPT. I told them, generate for me a Moroccan guy who is waiting for a couscous in a Moroccan restaurant. Who knows Moroccan couscous? Good, good, that's good. And the guy who is waiting for that. That's the real Moroccan couscous, okay? And the problem in this restaurant is that when he told the waiter what he wants, the waiter said that you should wait for this couscous. It's delicious, yes. You should wait for it more than 45 minutes. That's a lot of time, okay? But maybe he will wait for this couscous. Maybe he will leave. Maybe he will stay. But he will write bad reviews on Google. He will tell his friends that they should never come to this restaurant, and that's not good. But the question here is why I'm doing this parallel. I'm doing this parallel here to try to give a point of view in our web performance, okay? So imagine you're in a website that takes a lot of time to be loaded, and every time you want to load it, you should wait for the JavaScript, for example, 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That's not a good user experience, okay? So, and it's not only about the user, it's also about Google. So we have here Core Web Vitals that are metrics used by Google to rank your websites. For example, if your website doesn't respect the metrics that they have, you will be ranked. You will not be ranked, for example, in the first page. So you will not have a good SEO. You will not have good performance. In Google, it take care of that. Why? Because they care about the users. So they will rank websites based on these metrics. For example, here we have LCP, largest content fill pans. It's a metric that measures the time that will take your website to load the largest content that you have. For example, an image. If this image, for example, it takes more than 5 seconds to be loaded, you don't have a good score in this metric. We have also the first input delay. So the first input delay, it measures the time that your website takes between showing, for example, a button and that the button it becomes interactive. And we will talk about that after that. And we have also the cumulative layout shift. It's the metric that measures, for example, the layouts that you have. So I will give you an example. I visit always the website of the Financial Times, and when I want to click on login, I have an ad, and after that I click on the ad. That's a bad user experience because the ad moves all your page down. In Google, it measures that. If you have a lot of things like that in your website, you will have a bad score. But why I'm talking about that? I'm talking about that because as web developers, we should care about performance. If we care about performance, we will care about how we develop our websites. Okay? So when we develop our websites here, I have a schema here that show a graph here that show if we need more interactivity in our websites, we will need more JavaScript. We know that. If you have no button in your website, you have only a static one, you will not need the JavaScript. It's only one page, okay? But if you need data tables, graphs, a lot of things in your web page, you will need more JavaScript because you need more interactivity. But the problem here is that you will lose in terms of performance. Do I talk in? I'm talking loud. No, it's good. Good. Okay. Thank you. So to give a context why we lose in performance when we want more interactivity in our page. So I will show, for example, here when we are working with SPA frameworks. So when we are working with single page application, we load our HTML. That is a blank page. We have nothing in this HTML, okay? And after having this HTML, we will load all the JavaScript needed for our websites. And after loading this JavaScript needed for our websites, we will execute it. And you know, the page is blank. We have nothing. That's what I'm talking about. And after that, we will render our page. And now we will have a page that is interactive. Okay? So, for example, here, if you're working on slow internet, and you have a page that you should download, for example, 20 megabytes of JavaScript. That's not good. You will take a lot of time. Okay? So to try to improve this process, we need something called hydration. So when we are doing hydration, what we do? We send all the HTML of our page, okay? That we need to show to the user. But the problem is the website doesn't function. We need to wait for our JavaScript to be loaded, the same one, and to be executed. And after that, we will do the hydration, and we will have our page that is interactive. So what we are trying to do here is trying to show something to the user, but this something doesn't work. This is why, for example, we have if you attended to the talk of Minku, he's talking about differ views, and in React we have suspense, is to try to improve this process of hydration of our page, okay? So what I'm trying to talk about today is to talk about Qwik. And what's the thing that is interesting about Qwik is that the paradigm of loading our pages is changed. Here, for example, we will send the same HTML, but this time, this HTML will have a small code of JavaScript that will, it's a global listener. Its job is to listen to the events that we have in our page. And before having the JavaScript, our page, it will be interactive. Okay, so to explain how it works. How it works is that when we load the first HTML, we have in a single thread I forget, in the web broker. Yes. Yes, the service broker. The service broker, I forget that, I'm stressed. We have in the service broker, in the background, worker. The service worker, in the background, we are trying to load the JavaScript, but without executing it. Okay? So we load, but without execution. And here, when we will need to execute something in our page, we will call it from the cache, where our JavaScript is stored in chunks. And to show you that, I will do now a demo. Okay? And that's what we call resumability, and it's the streaming of our JavaScript. Okay? And with using this approach of resumability, what we will have is we can add the interactivity that we want in our websites, but without losing in terms of performance. And that's the key of Qwik. Okay, so here, for example, we can scale our websites at what we want, and we will not care about that because the framework will do that for us. The framework will organize the loading of the chunks of JavaScript for us. Okay, so what I will do now is I will do a demo, and that's the most thing that I will stress about. So I will create here, create a folder in our routine. I will call it Devworld. And I will create, default, okay. So here I will call our route. And it's working, okay? So what I will try to do here is I will add a simple button that do only a simple cancel log, okay? And try print something. So here in our page, I have a button that executes some JavaScript code, okay? And in the network, here I did one vit because we don't have this in production, and I select JS. So when we load our pages, we have no JavaScript in our page, okay? And when we will click on this button, here we will download the JavaScript needed for this button, okay? So what I will try to do is I will copy paste this button 3 times, 2, 3, 2, and there I will do 3. So I will have, for example, here 3 buttons, and when I will click for the button 2, I will get the JavaScript needed for this button. And when I will click on the button 3, I will get this JavaScript needed for it. So that's what we call the streaming of our JavaScript. So this is not lazy loading. That's lazy execution of our chunks of JavaScript that are stored in our cache with using a service worker. Okay? Okay? Great. So what I will try to do here is I will try to complicate our page. I will show another example. So I will add here a component of Qwik. Like you see, we are using JSX. It's like React. Okay? And I will have a simple Qwik. Okay. So it's working good. When I will refresh our page, we will have the JavaScript. Why? Because we need to show this Qwik. So that's normal that we should have this JavaScript to execute the Qwik. But imagine that this Qwik is in the footer, okay, of our page. So we will not have any JavaScript here because we don't show that to the user. But Qwik, what it did is it downloaded that in the cache without executing it. When I will try to scroll, try to see with me here, we will have the downloaded JavaScript needed. Okay? And that's what we call the streaming of JavaScript. Okay? Great. So I will try to complicate that a little bit. So I will create a button. I will create a count, const count. And in Qwik, we use signals. That's good. So I will create a simple counter, okay? And I will create h1 to show this count. That's working, cool. And here I will add a simple button that's do the incrementation of this count. So here I will add on click. And I will do the value here. So we have nothing here. We don't have JavaScript because we didn't use yet our button, okay? And when we will click on it, we will use it. We will download the JavaScript needed for this button, and we will download the framework because we need it, because we will use signals, okay? Like you see, when we used only buttons that have simple JavaScript, we didn't have the framework. Because Qwik see that we don't need it, and so it will not be downloaded. It will not be executed, okay? So here what I will do is that I will add simple button that's do what? I will name it print. And this button is simple. When I will click on this button, it will perform some lines of code, okay? So I will do simple console log to say if it's, is it working? So when I will click here in the console log, I have it's working, okay? So what I will say to my button, I want you to print something only if the count value is more than 126. So now you can print the cancel log condition is verified. Okay? So I will have my console log here. I will click, I have no JavaScript here. I will click on print. I will have only the it's working. I will not have the condition is verified because the condition is not verified. Okay? But when we will see in our network, we will have this condition verified in our chunk of code. And that's a problem because in this manipulation that we did with our button, we don't need this line of code. So if we want to lazy execute this line of code, it's so simple with using Qwik. You will only need to convert that to add a simple. So we'll need to add a simple $sign, okay? We'll need to add a simple $sign here, and we'll call this. So the question here is why we are using this $sign. This $sign is used to tell the compiler that this code should be in one chunk and that we will lazy execute it. And we have this $sign also in our components, okay? And that's the job of our sign, $sign. So now I will have in our network, I will execute the print. I don't have the cancel log. That's normal because the condition is not verified. But when I will click on the file, we will not have the business logic that we need in this condition verified. Why? Because the condition is not verified, so we will not have this line of code, and we will have only a link to point on this chunk if the condition is verified. So I will do, for example, 124. I will click on print. I will have nothing. I will have nothing because I don't need it. Okay? So now I will have 127. When I will click, try to see with me here, we have 4 files. I will click on print. I will have another file. So I will have the condition verified because the condition is verified. We'll have the cancel log. And when we will click on this chunk that is loaded, we'll have this code needed for this condition, okay? And Qwik, it will take this chunk and it will insert it in the DOM that we can now use it because the condition is verified. And that's what we call lazy execution, okay? So I have only 5 minutes, but you know, with using Qwik, there is a simple thing that we call the server, a thing that we call server functions. So what I will try to do here is, for example, if we are using our apps, okay? We're trying to do refactoring. We are using framework in the backend, framework in the front end, and we need to move a logic that we have in our front end to the backend. That will take a lot of time. That's a refactoring. That's a lot of jobs, okay? So if I need to move this logic in the server, it's too simple using Qwik because you will only need to add a server function here, and you will only need to add this server function here, and we will define a variable. I did Rust. I don't know why, because I'm trying to learn Rust now. I wanted to write result. Wait, and here it's an async. Okay, so what we will have here, when we will have the condition verified, the condition is verified, we will click on print. We will have other files. It's not only one file. We will have files that call Qwik City. Okay, the Qwik City is the meta framework of Qwik that is used for routing and for the server. And when we clicked in print, we don't have the condition verified here in the client side. Why? Because we moved this logic to the server here. Okay, so we print it in the server. And we can also return results from the server here. I will do a simple return. Good. So I will say to it, return me string here, and that string I can read it in the client side with the console log. And if the condition is not verified, I will click on print. I will have nothing here. I will have my files, and I will have nothing in the server. Okay? When I will have my condition verified, I will click on print. I will have my condition verified in the server and my response that I did in the server in the client. Okay? So with using Qwik, you can do lazy executions of your code, of your components, and also you can work with the server with doing like we did here with simple console log, but when we are coding apps, it's more complicated logic, and moving this logic that we have in the front end to the back end easily with only using server function. And that was the end of my talk. Thank you so much.